The Kitco News team is in Vancouver, a town full of hockey fever, but we're not here for the Canucks. We're here to cover the Vancouver Cambridge House show, which started today. Our first guest is Victor Goncalves. He's the editor of the Equities and Economics Report. We asked him about uranium and, of course, gold and silver. So you mentioned the uranium sector. A few people were really worried and concerned about what happened in Japan. And what do you think that was just an isolated case?
Yes and no. Isolated case, I hope so, because I really rather not see that many earthquakes of that magnitude happen again, obviously. But in terms of what happened with that reactor, unfortunately, I think it can be a reasonably common occurrence on the older reactors, because the way the uranium spent rods are stored. If you get that kind of magnitude of earthquake coupled with the tsunami, yes, that can happen again. Now the issue, and there was a talk I saw about this from a full-out uranium expert earlier in the year, and he basically said any generation 1 and 2 reactors have that flaw. Now, any generation 3 and 4 and 5 reactors do not have that flaw. So effectively, going forward, if an investor has a multiple-year timeline, what we can see is the general appreciation of the uranium prices, because we need that energy, plain and simple, and uranium is one of the best ways to do it. So I don't see any short-term real bump in it, but I think over time, somebody with a longer-term horizon, uranium, they'll do very well in that space.
Okay, so overall, you are bullish on uranium?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, what else are you bullish on right now?
Well, again, the gold and silver sector, particularly silver after the hit it took, I think it should come back. Maybe not retrench that whole amount that it came back, but I think I do see $50 by the end of the year, maybe 60. We had a very aggressive run on, obviously, there was more involved than just fundamentals. There was margins and all that kind of stuff that was involved. But I do think over time the intrinsic appreciation of the silver market will be realized, because, I mean, let's face it, whereas 100% of the gold ever mined is still around, 5% of the silver ever mined is basically still around. So when any sort of major increase in demand, we'll see the price of silver has to move up, and people will have to pay for it. Okay,
and you expect more volatility in the silver market than gold?
A bit more over the next little while, yes.
As for gold, do you think bottoms are to be expected until we get into some festival season?
That's a good way to put it. Yes, we're going to see it kind of putter around these levels here. I mean, it's going to do what it does. Seasonally, you get your market forces and you get seasonal forces. Right now, we're in sort of a seasonal force. We'll see the market, the gold market, come down a bit, maybe, yes. Not necessarily do any major appreciations, though, and that's just, go back over history. You'll see it again, so hang tight.
Up next, we have interviews with Frank Holmes and Roger Wiegand, so stay tuned to Kitco.com for more coverage from the Vancouver Cambridge House show.